good. See the sun's come out for us, eh? Nice one.
Afternoon all. We'll start the questions with Luke from Sky Sports and then we can go thereafter. But thank you for coming. Luke, take it away.
John, firstly, can you give us an update? We saw Andy Robertson walking off at training. How is he and what was the issue?
Yeah, he's fine. I've just spoke to him there. It was a precaution, really. He just caught the ball, just caught his ankle. But he'll train tomorrow. He'll be fine. And obviously at this stage, we're going to be extra cautious. So he's okay, he's fine, and looking forward to joining in tomorrow.
Is there any initial panic when you do see your captain walking off?
It's never nice, is it? And especially with the luck we've had lately. So as soon as training was finished, I popped across, had a chat with him, and he's in good form, so he's fine.
I did see Lauren Shankland walking off as well. What's the issue there?
Yeah, he had a little bit of a niggle from the other night, and he's in that process. Obviously, he played quite a bit game time in the 2 games that we've played, so we're just protecting him as well. And everybody's got their own programme coming back, as you well know, so he's fine. Everybody's good.
Kenny McLean?
Yeah, Kenny had the little issue before the game the other night, but again, he'll probably train again tomorrow with us, so he's fine. We're just, like I say, being a little extra cautious.
And Stuart Armstrong as well, is he close to being
in? Yeah, he'll be in with the group full time tomorrow, so that's good news as well.
How difficult is it managing individual programmes when players have all finished?
Well, I think you have to do that, especially in tournament football. And like I said, maybe a couple of weeks ago, everybody's at different stages of their return to football or match time. So we have to be careful. We have to make sure we've got all the signs right, because it's important, because we're now in the tournament and we want to make sure that we've got everybody fit and firing for that first game.
John, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about the camp itself, the welcome you guys have received here, maybe even John McGinn's dancing.
Yeah, it wasn't a surprise John was going to get up, eh? But no, it was fantastic. We got here yesterday. We had a wonderful welcome from the mayor, and now we want to make an impact. I think we've seen a little bit of the culture last night, which was excellent, and you've already said John McGinn joined in the culture, which was great, and we've had the open day today, and it was fantastic in awful conditions for all the families and the children to come out and watch training. It was a great turnout, and I hope they were impressed. But we just want to thank them, because, you know, it's very, very important you embrace the community, and we've certainly done that. I mean, it's a fantastic environment. We've tried to make it feel as much as we can as home. That's why we brought the weather with us. But if you look at the surroundings, you know, all the branding and making the players feel like, you know, it's our home.
I suppose all these little reminders just pointing towards what a huge game is coming up on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, today was about the community and allowing people to see the players. And for me, the real work starts tomorrow, where we can look at things, how we're going to play. We can look at all different things on the set plays, what have you. So it really starts tomorrow. The real work starts tomorrow. We've had a good preparation. You know, we had the couple of friendlies, which were excellent in my opinion, because we got out of it what we needed to get out of it. But like I say, the Friday is when the real business starts, and we have to make sure we're ready for that, and I'm sure we will be.
Yeah, you kind of preempted my next question, and that was, what is the focus now for the next couple of days?
Well, just preparing the team and making sure that we've got everybody available, but preparing the team for what is a huge challenge ahead. Let's not forget who we're playing against. We're playing against the host nation, you know, in excellent form, a very, very good team, and we can never underestimate that. That's important. So we have to get our preparation right, and we'll come up with something that hopefully we can get something out of the game.
Just on that point, John, if you talk about the atmosphere within the squad, just give us an insight into where the players are at in terms of their focus, how raring to go they are ahead of what's coming up.
I think it's quite incredible. When you arrive, because obviously we had a day off on Saturday, and we arrived Sunday morning, and you could sense it at breakfast, the feeling, the excitement, but controlled excitement. So we know it's here now. It's been a long time in waiting, and we know it's here now. So, you know, the players have to be prepared, they have to be ready for it, but in a controlled fashion.
Have you seen that difference from the previous Euros to now, where the squad are able to maybe embrace the occasion a bit more from that experience the first time?
I think we've all experienced that, haven't we? Let's be honest. So it does feel totally different. I've got to be honest. You know, we're 2 hours flight away from homeland, so it's totally different. And you're coming into a magnificent environment. Obviously, the day before the game, we'll travel to Munich, so we're closer to the Allianz. So, you know, it definitely feels different. It is different. And the fact that we've actually got that opening game makes it special.
John, I'd like to ask you a little bit about Steve, if I can. You know him better than most. What specifically do you think he's done in the last 5 years to create the team that we're seeing right now?
I think he's brought in a trust amongst the players. I think the most important thing from a leader, and Steve's the leader because he's the head coach, that the players trust you and the group of players trust him. And I think that's one of the biggest assets he's brought to the group, because I believe that players will work and run harder and faster if they are playing for somebody who they trust. And he's honest, he's straight, he's upfront. And it's quite clear the instruction he gives the players. So that's what players want, and they understand it, and they've understood that from day one.
I always find that really fascinating, actually, how you do that, though. How do you build that trust? What do you see that's different from managers that you've worked with in the past?
I can give you an example. Obviously, I worked with Sir Bobby Robertson, who had the trust of all the players because of the way he treated them. But if a player's left out, you'll have a conversation with him and tell them the reasons why. You won't just name a team and leave it at that. I think that is one way of giving you an example. You know, it's not a nice thing to say to a player that he's not playing, but he'll explain the reasons why. It might not be before the game, he might do it after the game, but he will have a sit down, a one-on-one conversation and explain. And I think myself as an ex-player, that's what I would like. I would like the manager to explain why I'm not playing if I'm not playing, because it's never easy.
No. I think what's interesting as well is he always likes to tell us he doesn't get too excited about things. When you see him, and specifically before the game on Friday, what do you think he's going to be like? What will he be doing?
I think he'll be the same as he ever is. He's just so level. I mean, I'm a little bit different. I'm either up on the top or on the floor. He's quite level, and that's the good balance that we have. Yeah. You know, so I don't think he's going to change. And if he does, you won't be able to tell in his face, because, you know, he's just got that deadpan look on him, hasn't he?
Jane?
Hi, John. I'm sure you've heard that former Scotland international Alan Hansen's ill in hospital. Is there a message that you and the coaching staff and the squad have for him and his family?
Yeah, there certainly is. Obviously, we got the news when we got off the aeroplane, and I would just like to pass a message on and say that everybody, the players, the staff, and everybody connected with the SFA are really thinking about himself and his family, because it's an extremely difficult time.
He's probably widely regarded still as the greatest defender that Scotland's ever produced. Do you remember watching him?
Absolutely. And the biggest thing that I noticed was he was a fantastic defender, but he was a ball-playing centre-half. And he was probably one of the first that I can remember seeing playing. The way he stepped out with the ball, he was so graceful. And that's what I remember him. And he was obviously in one of the top sides in the world at the time, winning European Cups and almost winning everything in sight. So, you know, a proper legend of the game.
Thank you.
Phil?
John, you mentioned that things get real tomorrow. How important is it to make that transition between the warm welcome and the open training, but actually to get focused on what is the biggest match for some of these players in their careers on Friday night?
I think when you're dealing with players who are playing at the top level, I think it's quite easy. You know, I mean, the amount of open days I've attended, and they're always the same. It's always low-key. It's always a little bit of fun, people smiling and enjoying themselves. But because we've got so many top professionals playing at the highest level, I think it's quite easy for a player just to turn the switch and say, right, okay. I mean, I can see it from myself. You know, my own point of view, how, like, yesterday was the longest day in the world for me, because I wanted to make sure that everything was right going into our next 3-4 days, making sure that our preparations were good. So I don't think it's a difficult transition. I think it can happen quite easily.
Yeah. Last 2 or 3 questions.
Hallo, Vincent Schirpke, Münchner Merkur TZ. Everybody in Germany is hyped about the Scottish fans, and a lot of fans are coming to Munich and to Germany, especially to Munich in the next days. How do you see their part in terms of supporting you, and how important is it to have all those fans in Germany to play a successful tournament?
It's huge. It's absolutely massive. I actually came out and said a few weeks ago there'd be about 100,000. I'm hearing now there could be in excess of 200,000. And that doesn't surprise me, although there's not many tickets available. So that doesn't surprise me one little bit. But what I will say is they are so important to this team. Because if we ain't got them supporting us and backing us, we're not a team. So they're so important, and the players understand that. And I just hope they enjoy themselves. I hope we can give them something to cheer about. And like I say, we can only find that out once the group stages are over.
Okay.
Hi, Felix Fischer from Sky Sports News Germany. Germany, the national team had some ups and downs. Obviously, you were talking about them as a nation, as a great football nation in general. But how do you see their current situation?
I think since the introduction of Cruz coming back in, I've seen an uplift in the team. I mean, they have some wonderful players, really well organised, quick at the back, creative players, a number of players who we know very, very well. So, you know, everybody talks about, and we're now in a tournament mode, and you know what happens in tournaments. Germany are the team who normally step forward and produce something. So we know how difficult it's going to be, but we're not fearing the challenge. It's a big challenge. It will be a big challenge. So we're going into the game with confidence, and we want to stamp our authority on the game the way we play and how we do things.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Cheers. Cheers, guys. That way.